Hey guys, I get a lot of questions about why I am gluten and dairy free, and so I wanted to give you some answers just in case it could help somebody else out there. I went gluten and dairy free last December, so it was December 2016. This was the fourth doctor who had told me to eliminate gluten, and he told me also to eliminate dairy. And so I was like, he's the fourth doctor to tell me I should go ahead and do it. Now, to this point, I was a sugar addict. I would binge on donuts. I would binge on ice cream. I loved sugar and all things processed. So when I went gluten and dairy free, I already at that point I was eating relatively clean, but I had not cut out things like bread. So this was the fourth doctor to tell me to do that. It was because I was tired all the time. I had brain fog, really bad brain fog. I mean, like if you take a nap and you wake up and you're like groggy, like that was me all day long. So he told me to go gluten to dairy free. I did it. I would say for the first 2 weeks, I dreamed about cupcakes. And then after that, I really started to feel better. It took a while, and now I feel so much more energetic. And if I have a little bit of dairy, which I can do a teeny bit of dairy, my stomach gets a little bit upset, but just like gurgles. And I laugh because people would be like, well, what happens if you have it? If I have dairy, my stomach just gurgles and like keeps me up at night. So that's all. Like I don't have pains or anything. Like it's just that. And if I have gluten, I feel like I have the flu. So this last weekend, we went out for lunch and for dinner, but after lunch, we ordered off the gluten-free menu. My husband's super supportive. When we go out, he will eat gluten-free with me because we like to share meals. So unless there's something he really, really wants, and then I'm like, go for it. So we ordered off the gluten-free menu. When we left, we should have felt great because we shared two sushi rolls and roasted vegetables. Should have felt totally fine. I felt like it had a McDonald's hamburger, like a big McDonald's hamburger and fries. And it was just sitting like here, you know? And I fell asleep in the car on the way home. And it was the kind of sleep where you're like going like this, the whole ride home. And my husband was like, there is something wrong with you. So anyway, we got home, felt better enough. We went out Friday night. I was all right. Well then, or Saturday night, woke up on Monday and I could not get out of bed. So that's what happens to me if I have gluten. We think that I just what we call, it's called I got glutened is how we refer to it. And so that's just what happens to me. There are different side effects for everybody, but yesterday I was in pretty deep brain fog and super, super tired. So, and I had heart palpitations. I get heart palpitations. So in doing some research, so what gluten does, if you have an intolerance to it, your body basically is attacking the gluten, and it's like, you know, invader, which is why it makes you tired, right? Because that's the same thing as what happens when you're sick. And something else that I learned is, I just learned this like this month, I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's an autoimmune disease where your body attacks your thyroid. And apparently people with Hashimoto's often have intolerances to gluten, dairy, a lot of other things, including things like caffeine, which is very interesting. I am super sensitive to caffeine, and I can only drink decaf, and not always. Sometimes I can't even tolerate decaf. So anyway, I have gone gluten-free to help with my energy and my brain fog. That has all helped me a lot. So if that's something that you've thought about, I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I've thought about that. You know, I'm really tired. Just try it for a month. Whole30, I've never done it myself, but it looks like a great program. So I would recommend trying it for a month. Just see, don't try anything without talking to your doctor first. And I'm not a doctor. But yeah, try it, see how you feel. I always felt amazing when I did Atkins. And I did Atkins and I stayed in induction, which is usually a 2-week period where you have no more than 25 grams of carbs per day. I stayed in that for like 2 months and I felt amazing. And now I understand why. It's because I wasn't having the gluten, and I was actually having some dairy, but it's the gluten that really keeps my energy low, and it kind of just drags me down. So if that helps you, if you feel like, oh, I might be able to use that, try it for a month, but talk to your doctor first just to be sure. Like I said, I had 4 doctors tell me to go gluten-free before I actually did it, and I'm glad I did. He said that our bodies aren't meant to process gluten and dairy, and he's also a registered pharmacist, so being a pharmacist and a doctor, I really trust him and how chemicals and things affect your body. So anyway, all right, have a great day. If you've got any questions, put in the comments and I'll try and answer. Bye.